Buenos dias, everybody. Here I am to present this new solution of ABB that we call Onboard DC Grid. So, how many times did you heard from your client, from designer, that the electrification is good only for big boat? It's true. We know that on 100-meter plus yacht, this is coming a standard. And as ABB, we are leader on that. This year, we had the pleasure to put in the water at least 5 boats, 100 plus meter, with diesel-electric propulsion. But the question is, what is happening when you want to electrify smaller boats? Where are the challenges? I believe that electrification is deserved also for smaller boats. There are, of course, benefits to have a boat electric. But which are these benefits? Are benefits in terms of comfort, for instance. But it's true that there are still some challenges. This is why, because the electrification is always asking to pay a compromise with the amenities that we have on board. First of all, the space, because we know that this kind of technology requires space. But with the experience that we had on bigger boats, and also in other segments, not only on the yacht, we see here a catamaran, which is really challenging from the space point of view. We decided to develop a technology that fits also in smaller hull, less power. And this is possible in which way? We decided to develop a new kind of drive. Here you can see a representation of what could be the machinery space, where we have now a switchboard dedicated for the electrical distribution in DC. And we have the drives that are that component that permit the engine, the motors, to run at different speed, that are no more inside the switchboard, but are localized close to the user and the consumer. So how you can benefit yacht owner and shipyard of the support of the company as ABB with our compact solution? First, this system is modular. Modular means that we can build by Lego block accordingly the needs and accordingly the operational profile required by the boat. Here we can see what means with this modular. We have these drives that is called HSE 880. Doesn't mean so much to you, but the important thing is to think that this object is completely independent. He can survive by himself. We can install wall mounted. We can paint as we want. And it's very, very compact. At same as ABB, we can fully support with the integration of this component that they permit the ship to be diesel electric with all the energy source available on board. Energy source can be alternators, more classic things. Energy source could be batteries, very common now to have the benefit to have a hybrid boat, and fuel cell, why not? PTO, PTI. We have fully in-house our technology for power energy management system. What is this? This is the brain who make all the components to work together in a fully integrated way and guarantee the performance required for the ship. Energy storage. Of course, we can offer all energy storage solution, and we can also support the client in the decision of which is the best chemistry for the battery. And we guarantee that the battery is treated as an ABB product. Even if we are not producing a battery, we can use battery available on the market, of course. But we have a dedicated team that is working on batteries as an ABB product. So we test the battery because we want to guarantee the entire life cycle of the battery, and we need to guarantee the performance of the battery for the rest of the life of the boat. And any kind of electrical machine. As ABB, we are producer of electrical machine, a rotating machine. We can supply alternator, we can supply motors. And we can also have, in the yacht, it's really sensitive in this, we have the possibility to supply some custom solution that they adapt to the available space. And we can open also to the market to available custom motor for your propulsion system. And of course, all charging technology can be part of our knowledge or portfolio. That means that we can cover 100% all the needs of a diesel electric boat. We are doing this on cruise, we are doing this on big yacht, and we can do this also on smaller ships that till some times ago, they were not considered with the right size to be built diesel electric. So going electric with ABB, what means? This means to have a full support from a company like us for the owner. So the client will be supported for the rest of the life of the boat. We can guarantee the entire life cycle of all components used. That means that in the future, 20 years ahead from now, when one of the components that has been integrated by us will enter in some, I don't know, obsolescence phase that is typical of the industrial, we will know years in advance about this obsolescence, and we will have the remedy with years advance with the refitting. So we have all the time to keep alive the system. We can support, sorry guys, because it moved. Okay. Naval architect, we can support all designer and naval architect when they study the platform. So our closest with the major designer, it helps to build up a system that it will work, simply it will work. Is needed some experience in play with electricity. And what we noted that also some experience to play with the PC is needed. And we saw that it is necessary to know the product because the risk to bad dimensioning it's high. We don't have to hide behind the finger, and we need to know what we are going to do. This is fundamental. This is a simple example, maybe it's not so simple, in how it could look a single line diagram. As you see now, we have only the switchboard for the electrical distribution. We distribute electricity in DC in the switchboard. The switchboard is very compact. We can reach 1.6 meters in height. That is very challenging on 40 meter segment of the yacht, 40, 50 meter segment. We have the shore side. So this is how we can connect the boat when we are on shore. Okay. We can integrate in this genset. Now what we can use with this technology of drive, this is the drive that is represented by this box. I don't know how much familiar, but this box play with electricity made by the alternator. Alternator create electricity, and in traditional electrical distribution, we know that alternators need to work at fixed speed, fixed RPM, because it needs to generate electricity at a certain hertz to permit to the ecosystem to work properly. But now we don't need anymore to have this speed fixed. We don't need anymore to have fixed hertz because this object, it's play with electricity. It cut in a lot of pieces. It make DC, it makes straight. We don't have any more a curve. We can distribute DC electricity, and after with the same object, we play again with electricity and we make it alternate again at the frequency that we want. This means that we can vary the speed of motors as we want to reach the required torque and speed. And the same it's happened with the battery. So battery are not producing alternate current, are producing DC current, but due to this we can retransform the DC current at the right voltage to distribute current. And on top of all of this, there is our PMS solution. So because we need to control this process and need and this is why it's always important that the integrator of system like this, that it's simple, but in a certain way it's also complex, has to be also responsible for the power management system. That means we need to know exactly how the battery is performing, how the battery is producing electricity, but also how the user is consuming this electricity, and how the alternator is generating this electricity. But as you can see, we try to limit as much as possible the type of drive that we use. So when we dimension the system, we do in the way that maybe it's necessary to have just one module as per part that cover different needs of the system, because this permits, in case of emergency or in case of unexpected failure, for the crew to limit the unoperating hour. And we can also create some bypass solution in order to continue to operate, excluding only the part which has been damaged or didn't work. We have also solution where we can continue to utilize alternator in traditional way with fixed speed. And we can also have an alternative solution to connect to the grid the electricity produced on board. So because now we want to see the electrical platform like a power plant, where we need just to manage the energy source, and we use this electricity, this power, to move the boat and generate thrust. And as you can see, it's very flexible. So it depends really case by case what we can do. But even if it's flexible, it's a standard solution. This is important. Other aspect is the shaft generator. This is something that is coming more common. I don't know if your client are starting to ask about, they call hybrid solution. And in certain cases, they are smart, because depends why I want a diesel electric boat. What is the need? In a cruise ship, it's clear. On a big yacht, it's clear. But on this side, it's really the comfort, the major aspect, or it's also the possibility to have access, for instance, in certain area at zero emission. Maybe for a few hours, I can navigate at zero, with all alternator switch off using the battery, or to use alternative energy source as backup for zero emission dinner. The boat is more smaller, so it's more sensitive compared to big boat, for instance, to the smoke generated by alternators. So you can have soot, even if we have filter, we can eliminate completely this. Or we can also think to have a really full silent boat. We know that air conditioning is still an important aspect from this point of view. So probably it's not really true to say, okay, if we switch off everything, we don't have noise on board. We are aware. But for sure, you can cut out all that is coming from the alternators, vibration included. And okay, the two switchboards are not independent. They are connected. We can guarantee any kind of redundancy that we are looking for. This means that if we have a failure somewhere, we are not losing completely the ship. Maybe we have limitations in terms of power, but we can continue to operate the ship. So we will not have the dead ship. And this is very important for the safety first. And here there is our technology, our patented solution is in this area, because electrical distribution in this is a well-known technology, it's nothing new. But how to protect is where there is our brain. Of course, if you are interested to know more details about this area, it's better to have a dedicated talk with the proper engineers in ABB that will develop this solution. Okay, I mentioned the fuel cell. This is something that in the last years is coming more popular. Everybody's talking about fuel cell. And if we want to target zero emission, we have to pass through something alternative. For us, if it's a fuel cell, if it's a battery, if it's a nuclear reactor, I don't know if you heard around, it's not so much important because we want to remain agnostic from that point of view. What we care is how to manage electricity independent how it's generated. Of course, when you design a 50-meter, I think that fuel cell could be a 250 kilowatts, something like this to cover the hotel load. And the technology is mature, is there. And there are also some projects that has been done with this small amount of fuel cell. But we also managed to do multi-megawatt fuel cell project. We did one with a 3 megawatt fuel cell hydrogen. So we know this area of technology. But probably on a 50-meter, we don't see that it's still necessary today. But it could be tomorrow, accordingly the rules and the regulations that are coming. So if we want, again, our industry is under the lens. We know everybody, no? And often the owner is, he pay more attention on how his boat is performing and what is the impact that his boat is having. And all these are aspects that needs to be carefully studied together in a cooperation. And we can also advise and calculate which are the real emissions. We can also have simulation with according to the operational profile and having an idea about which kind of technology for alternative energy source could be more suitable for the project. Okay, now I ask you a favor. So if you want to remain in contact with me, you can make pictures and we can stay in contact with LinkedIn. And we can have dedicated call meetings. So we arrange often with our major client as Navantia also tech talks dedicated on some particular items that, that we can see together. So. Oh. And okay, that's all, but it's simple, but need dedication. So I really suggest to don't underestimate the value of this integration because there are some tricks and some risk that without experience are difficult to identify. So my really suggestion, if you have any opportunity in this field, is to, how to say, to involve the integrator with experience, with installed base, because it's some of the experience how to develop on these small sites, because it's more challenging than a big cruise, a 50-meter boat. And we are here, so. Thank you, everybody.